Hi, welcome friend. I am going to show you how to simplify this thing. Make some room. On the top, let's factor out a 2, because if you look at it, 2x squared plus 14x plus 24, those are all even numbers. I can factor a 2 out and I get this 2 times x squared plus 7x plus 12. I'm going to try to factor the bottom, but not right now. Right now I'm just going to copy it because I think I'm going to need scratch paper for that. So I just wanted to do the top one to get started here. So when I say factor, I'm going to break those trinomials up into two things that are multiplied together. The top one, the 2 is already there. I factored that out. But this x squared plus 7x plus 12 is pretty easy to factor if you know how to do the factoring. If you don't, I'll put a link up here because I am going to be doing the heavy duty factoring for the bottom. But on this one, since it's starting with x squared, it's pretty simple. Think of two numbers that when you multiply them are 12, but when you combine them are 7. And that would be x plus 3 and x plus 4. The bottom trinomial to factor, that one's going to take some scratch paper. So let's bring that in here, recopy it. Now in the video, I showed how to factor like this using these two little helper things. So you take your trinomial and you put the first term in the first box and the last term in the last box, like this. So 7x squared goes in and minus 20 goes in. Now what goes into these two boxes in the other corners, you got to do a little work, and that's what this x is for. So we're going to start by taking the 7 times the negative 20, that's negative 140, and we put that here. 23, that middle term goes on the bottom. Now I need to think about two numbers that multiply to be 140, negative 140, but when you combine them are a positive 23. Well, the only way you get a negative when you multiply is if one of the numbers was negative and the other one was positive. Now, right off the top of my head, I'm not coming up with answers. It's a little bit different than we just did with the 12. So I'm going to make a list of all the numbers to multiply to be negative 140, and then I'll make a column what happens when I put those together. So negative 1 and 140, when you multiply them, that's negative 140. But when you sum those, put them together, you're going to get a positive 139. I'm shooting for 23 here. I'm not going to just mess around and make this harder. I'm just going to follow my list and go in order. 1, 2. 3 isn't going to go into negative 140. 4 does. 4 times 35 is 140. When I put those together, I get a positive 31. I'm getting closer. I think it's going to be this one. Yeah, there it is. Negative 5 and 28. When you combine those, you get a positive 23. So the 5 is the negative one, and the 28 is the positive one. These are the numbers that go into these boxes, but we have to have an x with them because we're really trying to get 23x in the middle. So this needs to be negative 5x here and 28x here. You can flip these two around. I'm just following the way I wrote it down in my big X over here. Okay, now factor using boxes. Look at this top line. Just the 7x squared and the minus 5x. What can you factor out of both of those? You can factor out an x. Look at the 28x and the minus 20. What can you factor out of both of those? That would be a 4. Now, factor up. 7x squared and 28x. I know I can factor out an x, but I can also take out a 7. So 7x. And what can you factor out of a negative 5x and a negative 20? That would be a minus 5. So this trinomial factored would be 7x minus 5 times x plus 4. Now I'm going to get rid of the scratch paper and go back to my work. And we're going to fill that in. 7x minus 5 and x plus 4. If you're lucky, you're looking at it. You see you have this common factors. These are three numbers multiplied together, even though they're parentheses. Two numbers multiplied together. If you have common factors, they can cancel. So x plus 4 and x plus 4 will cancel. Write down what's left, and we'll see if we can factor any more. We have 2 times x plus 3 over 7x minus 5. Nope, that's simplified. We can't factor any more out. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. Bye.